In the next section, I'm going to walk you through how to configure the Advanced Engine VCA. So, we select the option here, classified as Advanced. We click on Analytics Configuration. Then once again, our screen pops up showing us an image of our outside of our office. So now, like we did in the basic configuration, we right click on it and create a zone. Look carefully though, we have more options to choose from. So let's select create a zone. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the exact same configuration, but I'm going to use a different rule in this section. So this is the office that we're currently at. Now if you have a look outside, this is a loading zone. These are the car parks. So let's have a look if we can create a loading zone so that only the vehicles that have authority to stay there for no longer than say 5 minutes, it will trigger off an event to someone that stayed longer. We've just created a loading zone. Now these are all the options that we can choose from. Class filters. Now these are all the options that we can choose from. We have the choice to select what color we like. So maybe I could put a blue or another color, but I like the red because it stands out. Usually with loading zones there's yellow or white marked on the floor, so white is a good color that corresponds with the yellow or the red. We have class filters. Now class filters are particular objects that you want to either detect, include, or exclude from our calculation. So here we can say that I want to pinpoint a person, I want to pinpoint vehicles, but for today I'm going to select all of them. So regardless who chooses to stay there, it will automatically determine that yes, there's a vehicle there, and after a certain amount of time, based on what we've configured, it will trigger off the event. That's done. We move down, we have presence. Now presence is obviously if someone was to walk into that area. Is enter, so if someone enters or exits the premises, maybe a door either appear or disappear. Stopped, now that's the one that we're going to use in this function. The remaining advanced analytics that we can do within the Digifort software. So we also support stopped objects. Loitering. Now loitering and stopped are two different things. It's very important we don't get confused here. Stop means that the object comes to a complete halt and doesn't move anymore. Maybe they're broken down, a vehicle's broken down. That's classified as a stopped. Loitering, for example, is in a car park, and what tends to happen is maybe we have a group of teenagers that are sitting around on the floor, maybe they're talking amongst one another, they're skateboarding in a particular area around cars or throwing the football. This is the way that we can apply a loitering rule and very quickly get the security guard to go out there and speak to the kids or the boys or the girls that are playing around the vehicles and loitering around areas that they're not supposed to. We also support direction filter. A lot of the times the direction filter is used, for example, on a one-way street or a one-way road. What tends to happen are vehicles decide to drive down because they're too lazy to go around, drive down that one-way road the opposite way. Another good place to use the one-way direction filter, for example, is in a apartment block where vehicles go in one way and come out another. A lot of the times of a night time they open the boom gate and people decide to go in and out from the same entry or exit point. By having a direction filter, we can quickly pinpoint and determine all the vehicles that are violating the one-way rule. Digifort also supports speed filter. This is a great function. You can actually determine how fast someone's actually walking or driving, and you can put down lower bound or upper bounds speeds. So for example, if someone's going greater than say 50 kilometers per hour, we can then trigger off an event and the security guard can walk out from that private property and say, well mate, there are signs up here that say 20 kilometers, why are you traveling at 50 kilometers per hour? So it becomes a full automated system. We also support tailgating, abandoned object, and removed object. Same as the basic analytics, just with a little bit more tweak in the algorithms. The next functionality is a very, very important function in Digifort. This is what we call calibration. The reason why we have to calibrate our cameras is because just like anything, the results and the configurations that you put into the software, the accuracy will be better and better. So if we have a look at the grid that we can see here in the little blue and red man that's standing there, this will measure the estimated height of the camera above the ground. It uses the mouse wheel to set and select the camera height. So if we have a look to the right here, we can select the height of the camera. It's very important that we try and get it as close as possible for the accuracy once again. We have the tilt angle. We also have the field of view. On the left hand side here, we can drag and drop our grid to change the tilt angle. We can also click and drag the mimics, which is like you see here, to go around to a particular area, for example over here. And the last option was these green boxes. They must be 2 meters by 2 meters. So now let's go through and configure our VCA to make it as accurate as possible. My camera is probably not 10 meters high, so I'll amend this and make it maybe about 8 meters high. Tilt angle. So here we can just simply drag our horizon further down so that it's slowly coming. That's looking a bit more better. So there we go. If I take my person here and put him next to, let's have a look. Yep. If I bring my person here and I was to walk in front of the vehicle, I would more or less estimate to be at that height, close to the size of the vehicle. And if you have a look here, the further away that I put my mimic, okay, it gets smaller and smaller. That's why it's important that the way for analytics to work is you must correspond the right configurations within your Digifort analytics server. Now there's one more thing that I can see here that doesn't look right. The camera is not actually recording at 180 degrees. If we look here, the line is slightly out. So we need to maneuver our pan degree. Watch carefully as I start to maneuver the grid. See, now it's starting to actually look even more closer to the way that it would look if someone was in real life walking forward to that building across the road. So for example, see, if someone was to walk in that door, that would more or less look quite similar to the size there. So we can also pause the video stream or unpause the video stream. We can also restore the defaults, but let's not do that because it's taken a little bit of time here to configure our analytics. Hit the OK button, hit the OK button again, one more time. So now, if we have a look and go to status, we have one working. So our configuration is not actually counting, it's stopped. So let's type in stopped here, stopped car or stopped vehicle. Press the OK button and let's just double check to make sure that our configuration in our analytics is working. There we go. So we're currently receiving 30 frames and we know that it's working, and if we go across and see it's stopped or processing, double click on here, it's processing the data and the amount of frames that are coming in per second, how long it's been activated for. Let's click on processing. Now look at the difference here. See, it's processing all the frames that it's receiving from our camera and not losing any. So let's have a look at our configurations now in the Digifort surveillance client. There we go. So now I've brought it up and we can have a look. So as you can see here, this is our zone or our area. We have an abnormal in the back and a vehicle now driving into the premises. Okay. And if we look carefully, our object says that 5 seconds. If the vehicle stays there greater than 5 seconds, an alarm will be triggered. Now look at that. We've got an alarm and it says that the object or a vehicle has been stopped greater than 5 seconds, and it pops up informing us exactly of that event.